Everybody, it's Blake again. Hey, I just want to show you guys what I am doing, how I'm basically saving my float tank water while I do a bunch of maintenance and halfway refurbish this one here. So this one, I neglected it for a long while. Originally, I just wanted to float real fast, so I patched the holes with some clear epoxy that eventually turned yellow. So what I'm going to be doing is basically cleaning, resanding, and then pouring either a light blue swirl, or I was thinking of a beach, kind of like a epoxy, kind of wavy beach with some sand, and then sprinkle some salt in the sand for, you know, the grip when you first step in. I'm getting rid of both of these back drains. I'm going to put them below the water line, and I have a smaller, kind of more of an aquarium mag drive pump I'm going to install into it. And then I'm going to have all the filtration bolted to the bottom side wall there. Basically, I'm going to mount these to it. I'm going to have one cartridge, one UV. I'm going to basically drill a hole and put the UV right up through one of these. So let me show you the setup I got going on. So I got my pump. I'm not going to unscrew this, but I got my pump basically pumping through the cartridge filter. Comes around the line into this one. This one has a hot water heater, which don't recommend doing that. Do that at your own risk, or don't do it at all, especially if you do it after watching this video, because it can get to the point where it can melt if you were to leave it on constantly and this were to get hot. Your whole, basically the weight of the water inside of it could destroy the tank. So right now I have it set on, I'm still playing around with the temperature. I don't want it to get too hot. I think I'm gonna get a timer where it just kicks on every 2 hours or so for about 15 minutes, just to keep the water from getting super cold. I'm doing all my shock, heavy shock. Basically, I'm trying to get my water as clean as possible before I put it back into my tank. After it goes from this tank to this tank, basically it fills up. Once it hits this level of that line, it goes over to this tank, fills this tank up, goes over this tank, and then this tank is only about half full. So the water drips back down, pumps it back up, and it's just a never-ending cycle. I'm going to be dropping my UV light down into one of these tanks. I got an aquarium, I think it's 13 watt UVC light, which is the same light I'm going to install into one of these guys. So yeah, let me know what you guys do with your float tank water. Do you just dump it? There's been so many times where I've dumped 2.5 tanks. That's like $4,000 to $5,000. It just never again, unless, you know, it gets to the point where it's because of the water cleanliness. I would dump it for that reason, but never again just because I'm moving my tank or I'm putting my tank in storage. Yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have other ways, you know, before this I just got a little $20 little kiddie pool, but that is a very edgy kind of way to do it. It just makes me feel not very secure. And then the other time I read 2 garden hose, filled up 1 bathtub, a second bathtub, and then I think it was every sink in my house I filled up. Just to, hell, I don't even remember why I did that, but I needed the water out of my tank for some reason. Put it right back in the next day. All right, you guys, have a good one.